In a game that already fully hinges on deduction and deception, the Tribunal expansion takes the consequences for any sort of a misstep and ratchets it up to 11.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Play the Game HQ. I'm Allison, this is Danielle, and this is Veiled Fate, the Tribunal expansion. Oh my gosh, does this add some stuff?
I don't know that I have added an expansion to a game that added the amount. Like I've played expansions that, they add new rules and they add here's new ways to score. I don't know that I've played an expansion that added the amount of tension and I don't know the words for it.
There's no words.
Needed to get a thesaurus before we started this because I don't know the word for it other than just we played last night and it was one of the most tense games that I have ever played coming down to the end. Okay, so do you mind really quick? I'm going to give a quick rundown for people who don't know Veiled Fate. The bulk of this video is going to be for people who are familiar with Veiled Fate, and we're going to focus on the expansion. But in case you don't, let me give you a quick rundown of how it plays. So in Veiled Fate, everyone is assigned a demigod. No, you can leave that on the table. You can leave that on the table.
This is Veiled Fate. It's okay. There we go. That's all.
Well, I had those there for a reason.
I'll put them back.
So in Veiled Fate, you are assigned a demigod. You have a card that assigns you to one of these characters, but you can play any character and you actually don't want to give away which demigod you are because otherwise people will just screw with you. Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. So you can control anybody on the board. You have 2 actions on your turn, and your goal is to complete missions. That's what moves the game along, or quests.
These are quests.
These are quests. And I gotta say, the rules, I expected so much more rules-wise of this game. The rule set of this game is so simple and straightforward.
I literally was taught and I was like, that's it?
Yeah, it was like that.
Okay, cool.
I've seen reactions to this game and it seemed like there was going to be more to it.
Right.
But then you play it and you're like, oh, it's all in the actual gameplay, not in the rules. So you can move anybody. You move them onto a quest. Some of these require specific things to go on there. Some of them have arrows and they have to be completed in specific orders. Let's set that on the floor.
She wants to dance.
But you're going to move people onto a quest and then you're going to vote. These cards would be face down. So if I move Black over onto a quest there.
That is Clar.
If I move Clar onto that quest, I'm going to take a card from my hand. I'm going to place it face down to vote. And what you're voting on is the column that you want to win. So once it fills up,
or scorpions.
Feathers or scorpions. Once it fills up, you, based on what's on the top of the card, some more cards may get added in, but then you're going to reveal the cards and the column that has the most votes wins. So in this case, Feathers has 3 columns, Scorpions has 2 columns. So you resolve it top to bottom. The little sickle there means you lose a point. And then the little
horseshoe thing.
It's an Omicron symbol. That symbol, I know what it is, but that means you go up that number of points. So resolving this, turquoise is going to go down 1. When you enter a new point space, you always go at the front. Orange is going to move up 2, and red is going to move up 1. So red moves in front.
That's why you're sure that you do it in the order that they are top to bottom, because there is rearranging of the points.
Now, again, keep in mind, you're not technically, or you're not specifically moving and scoring for only your character.
If you do, then
it's going to become really obvious. Yeah. So there are 9 demigods in play every game, no matter how many people you're playing with. Whoever is at the front and has the most points at the end of the game wins. But as you start to catch on who other people are, because you can control anybody, you're going to start trying to push yourself forward, bring other people back. Now, it's possible that a non-player wins the game, and that just kind of stings. So that's the general, there's other things. It's played over 3 ages. There's some other things that happen. But the gist of the game is you are trying to, without giving away who you are so that other people can mess with you, get to the front of the line, move other people to the back. There's a lot of deception. There's secret voting. There's all kinds of things that can happen, but it's so straightforward. You win, other people lose. That's it. Enter frickin' Hadria.
Oh my gosh.
This is the core. One of the, this is something You should I don't know that I will ever play this game without Hadria unless we're teaching someone new.
We're teaching someone new. Don't play with Hadria. But I can't not play with her now.
No, unless we're teaching someone new.
So much juiciness to this game.
But so simple. So Hadria, anytime anyone is smited, anytime you smite someone, Hadria gains a point. Simple. Smiting, Hadria gains a point. Anytime Hadria is in a space with someone and they move, Hadria follows them. So Hadria comes here.
Like a little puppy dog.
So pink moves out of here. Hadria follows pink. Purple moves over here. Hadria follows purple. So let's say Hadria followed someone into this. This quest is done. Whenever Hadria is in a space where a quest has been completed, Hadria loses a point. Hadria gains points for smiting, loses points for being in a place where quest is. Very simple. And then also simple, at the end of the game, everyone ahead of Hadria dies.
They're just gone. So
everyone ahead of Hadria dies.
It's gone.
So if you manage to get Hadria to there, everyone dies. Except for the people behind them.
No point.
And then the best person who had 0 points wins because Hadria annihilates everyone in front of her.
That may sound horrible, but it actually is so good because now not only am I trying to get my demigod up on the score.
Or maybe not.
I'm like, okay, hold up. Hadria is there. She's not going to be on this quest. This is the third age. I need to step on back or make sure someone gets smote, so that she can go up and so that mine is behind her.
It creates an entirely new, and especially so big part of of the game is the ages, and at the end of the age you have some voting for things that happen.
Final votes.
So like this one is evil curses. This is the end of age 2. You're going to vote. This is not face up. Some of them are, but everyone's going to vote as many cards as they want. If Feather wins, then all of the demis in the abyss and the pools, which is on this tile, which are demis that have been smited, are going to go down 2 points. Demis in the city go down 2 points if the scorpions win. If it's a tie, any demi anywhere else is going to go down 2 points.
I don't think we played at that age.
No.
Yet.
So like the one that we had last night when we played, it was
open voting
the last one wasn't open, but it was go up 2 points, and like Hadria was, I think she was at 2
or 3.
So it was like it was so consequential to the end of the game of fighting to win that and push everyone but you hopefully ahead. Like it just Hadria increases the stakes so much.
At the same time as you're not wanting anyone else to know who you are. So you're like have this little angel on your shoulder going, oh, you nearly do it.
Now Hadria is about 10% of this expansion. So this expansion also adds in rolls, which give you different win conditions. And typically like you can play with multiple rolls in the game, but typically I think the suggestion is always play with Hadria. And then one person has a special role. Now we played
with the Arbiter last night.
Yeah, we played with the Arbiter last night. Devin was the Arbiter. Devin won. It was so close. I didn't care who else won. I just wanted him to not win.
Yeah, I think
I got messed up at the end of the game. I was trying to do something strategic, and then I ended up like y'all screwed me over.
Oh, but
gave
Devin
me
too.
2 points.
He was trying to do something. Yeah. He goes, "Man, I screwed up. I did that wrong."
So the Arbiter and all of the roles have a specific win condition. Oh, this is also Hadria. If you've played the base game, when you move someone out of the abyss, you get to draw a card. Instead of drawing a card when you're playing with Hadria, you take one of these favor cards, and that gives you a free god power. So there's all these god powers that just let you move things, manipulate the boards in a certain way.
Which cost?
They do cost cards, and that's very important. So the god or the favor cards give you a free god power. It doesn't cost an action, and it doesn't cost any cards.
But they can't be powerful at the end because the person who has played the most, they lose 1 point.
Well, they all have they have a number at the top. I think that's corruption is what that's called in the game. So whoever has the most loses 1 point, which could be bad
Or could be really
it could
good.
be really strategic because it's going to pull you to the front of the line.
I was really mad because I wanted to play my corruption card, my favorite card, so that I could corruption, and I was going to outwin them. But then the game ended before it could land on me, and I didn't get to lose.
And Hadria is always at the front of whatever space she's in. So anyone that moves into that space moves into the first space behind her. So she's going to, again, annihilate anyone in front of her.
She's the leader of the Congo line.
So the different roles, again, have specific win conditions that no matter what the points at the end of the game are, if they meet their conditions, they just win outright. But all of their win conditions are after Hadria has been activated. So they may meet their conditions, but then get annihilated, and then they can't win. So the Arbiter is, the full disclosure, the only one that we have played with.
There's this is the one I want to play with next. This is the mother to all.
Yeah. So the way the Arbiter works is the person playing this has 2 demigod cards. So they have 2 different colors that they are vying for and responsible for, or trying to score with. At the end of the game, if one of their demis is in the top 3 and one is in the bottom 3, they win no matter what the rest of it is. Top 3 and bottom 3. So that push and pull of one trying to figure out, that very important. They also get to look through the rest of the deck. So they don't know who each specific person is, but they know what colors are controlled by other people.
And so the whole time I was so jealous that Devin knew that. He didn't know who I was, but he knew one of the 3 because it was just 4 of us playing. And that information is so good.
Yes.
I hated that he knew that.
And in that, like at the end of the game, we had all figured out that Devin was pink. So pink, and it was real.
I thought Devin was pink and purple, but actually Carlton was purple. Pink. Devin was pink and yellow.
Yeah,
which I mean, if you've seen Emperor's New Groove, pink. Her name is Isabel, but this is Yzma. 100% Yzma. So you know.
So that last city, or the last age card, Devin forced a tie. We were all trying to vote to get pink to move up ahead of Hadria because that would force him to lose. Carlton had 0 points. He would have won with 0 points because
really
at the end of the game, Devin's 2 scoring markers and Carlton were the only ones left in the game. I think it was lined up like that. Carlton was purple, so Devin technically had a player in the top 3 and a player in the bottom 3.
No, I think
everyone
it was
else
here.
was
Hadria was on one.
Everyone else was dead.
Yeah,
but we were trying to force, because of where pink was, that it voted to move pink ahead of Hadria, annihilate Hadria, and then Carlton's going to win. Devin just wins too much. He way overthinks his moves, but he's very good at games, and we just want him to not win just for the satisfaction of foiling his plans.
That's kind of how we feel with you in Ticket to Ride. It's, it's just one of those things.
It happens. So that for that character, for the Arbiter, just that push and pull of having to balance 2 characters, also make sure they're not ahead of Hadria. Also, that was really fun to see. Now, the Arbiter has a very, very, very powerful ability that they can take 2 turns in a row whenever they want.
Okay, yeah. That was a little annoying because I was like, oh my gosh, like you should not have that much power at the end of the game because that ended it.
Yeah, because what he did is he saved that ability for his last turn, completely finished a quest on his own, fully controlled the vote and ended the game and completely controlled what happened. So
that was a lot.
Maybe like feedback, Austin, Ivy, all you guys, maybe a little rule that can't be used on the last turn, to end the game. That did feel a little overpowered, but also just be aware that can happen. Keep it in the back of your head and plan accordingly. So that's the Arbiter. There are a bunch of different roles. One of them lets you
right next to you.
Yeah. So we have
the art is so good.
The Tormentor has no special setup rules. At the end of the game, if your demi is in last place, you win. So
literally, you are the entity that is tormenting your demigod and
But also with the way that the arrangement works, the last person to move into that spot comes in front. If you're smited, you go to the back. So you really don't just need to have no points or or be in the last space. You need to be in the very last place. So again, just adding a lot of technicality
really,
to playing
that would be really fun to play with Hadria, because if you're trying to get him smoked,
just push everyone ahead.
Keep pushing, and then she's back here. And
smiting moves Hadria forward.
Oh no!
You want Hadria on quest so that you have no points. Erdon doesn't draw a demi card. They take a pad and a pencil. Erdon's goal is to figure out who everyone else is.
Yes.
So based on the number of players, if in a 2 to 3 player game, if they can guess 2 demis, in a 4 to 5 player game, they guess 3. Up to an 8 player game, they guess 5. Right. If they can guess correctly who the other players' demis are, they win outright.
Yeah.
So that really, it's already really important to not give away who you are.
But you really don't want to when Erdon's play.
Yeah. What this expansion does is it ratchets up the consequences for any little misstep.
Yep.
And really forces you to fully play to not give away who you are. That's already, again, you can kind of
playing and hiding in what is their thing? You hide in plain sight. Yeah. It's so that's just the game, hiding in plain sight.
It is. But prior to this expansion, it's okay, I'm who I am, but I'm just gonna run away with it. Well, okay, I'm just gonna pull Hadria over here with me, and Hadria is gonna lose a bunch of points as we complete all these quests, and she's gonna annihilate everybody. It increases the consequences by a bajillion.
Yep.
And again, there's more minis, there's more roles. We have not delved into all of those. I've read them in the rule book. They all have very specific and they're not overly complicated, but they are very specific win conditions. And the roles are public. What role the other person has played. So you're not trying to figure out their role. You know what they are. You know what their powers are. But it just shifts how you're actually playing the game, because it's no longer just about the points. So you really want to play with the mother to all.
Mother to all. Hers, she does not draw a demigod, but she wants all the players that are controlled. If all the players controlled, all the demis that are controlled are ahead of all the unused, then she wins. So you're not wanting one of those non-player demis to win. She also gets some fun voting cards here. You've got the Mother's Choice.
Mother gets to pick which one of those applies, and then 3 and 3. Mm. Now, begin. So the mother wants all 3 of those to be or every controlled player to be ahead. So if you're not the mother to all, you may be in the lead, but then you need to push somebody back. I love the tension.
Balance is so good.
Yes, I've said at the beginning, I've never played an expansion that immediately added this much tension to a game. And it's so good. It does it without adding really any complexity. Mm-hmm. It didn't make the game more confusing. It didn't make it more complex. It
added that extra element of choice.
You had to think more.
Your decisions had a much more weight.
It did, but it didn't add another rule set on top of that you had to obviously there are rules.
Unless you have a different
there's rules with
entity.
And I'm not saying what I'm trying to say clearly. it sometimes in order to add the complexity and to add what this added to a game, you also have to add confusion in adding a bunch of new rules that change things, or a bunch of different conditions that change up not just how you play, but you're having to juggle a bunch of things. This somehow stuck to the very simple rules that make Veiled Fate amazing, and added in so much crunch to it without really adding in anything other than you're having to track more stuff. There's more things to consider, but it didn't add in rules complexity.
Right.
Hadria is very simple. She loses points when she's on a quest. She gains points when someone gets smited. If you're ahead of her, then you're destroyed. You're dead at the end of the game. She follows you wherever. She follows anyone that moves out of her space. Those are the 4 rules to Hadria, but adding Hadria into the game completely changes the way that you have to play the game while still following a very simple rule set. Yep. It is a fantastically designed, well done. Yes, I don't know if you were saying well done to them or saying
I was saying well done to them,
yeah.
And it goes twofold.
It was a fantastically designed, well done amazing addition to Veiled Fate. Yeah, this is not a paid preview. This is just an unpaid review.
It is a prototype,
Yes.
so components are subject to change. We got to
Yes.
put those things in there.
Yeah, but I believe they tend to be one of the publishers
They
that's
do.
like ready to print.
We're done.
Yeah. So yeah,
So good.
I'll leave it to you, the viewer, to kind of flesh out how we feel about this. I'm so excited. We're going to a convention next week. We're going to take it and hopefully get to play through some of the other roles. You know, we've only played a couple of the editions, but just reading through what the others add, it is so easy to see how that would change up the game.
Yep.
I'm really excited to play those.
I can't wait to play with the extra, like the other ones. And the other minis are so good.
Yes.
They're all so good. I love her hand. It's just this like gnarly. She's like one of those trees.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's
It's so
creepy.
good. So good.
So this is our review of the Veiled Fate Tribunal expansion up to what we have played so far. We will down the road hopefully be able to come back and share our thoughts on all of the other ones. But yeah, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We'll leave a link to
the Kickstarter.
To the Kickstarter. If you like Veiled Fate, I would say this is just about the most must-have expansion to a game that I can recommend. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you later.
Bye.